I am well aware of the sociological critique and vantage of Christianity, wherein sociology sees a social value within the formation of religion. Rising up in our time has been the phenomena of the idea of a cultural Christianity. The idea that Christianity was so important and vital to culture. And the claim is that if this culture is lost, if this religion is lost in culture, then culture itself will be lost. That freedom itself will be lost. That goodness in society will be lost. That law will be lost. The interesting thing about this cultural Christianity is that its embrace of Christianity is not from the vantage point of the truth of Christianity. Its embrace of Christianity is from the vantage point that Christianity has a pragmatic social value to society. This cultural Christianity has departed from the orthodoxy of Christianity, from the very essence and presence of Christianity, from the original foundation of Christianity. This cultural Christianity admits from the outset, even though this is not its confession, that Christianity as a supernatural form is not a real thing, that it's simply a cultural form, a form that we practice in society because we get good results by adopting the values of Christianity. But if we think about this position, we see that it betrays itself from the very outset. The mind, which declares that cultural Christianity has value, is already coming from a vantage point that is superior to Christianity. It's already coming from a vantage point that is morally transcendent to Christianity. What does this mean? It means that when we stand and judge over a culture and declare it to have value, it means that we have already transcended into the consciousness of a higher culture. That's why we are adopting a culture from a meta position of culture. So the question then becomes, why do we not simply proceed forward from this meta position? Why do we not proceed forward from this transcendent position? If I say that cultural Christianity has value because it has good values, I stand in judgment, secular judgment of Christianity. My analysis and evaluation of Christianity is not based on the principles of Christianity itself, but is of a secular consciousness and rational formation that stands higher than Christianity itself. This consciousness, this meta-position betrays itself because it makes those who descend into cultural Christianity out to be fools. Why are they fools? Because they are unconscious of the fact that they are already critiquing Christianity from a higher vantage point, from a higher rationality, from a higher morality. And so the question is, why are we not cultivating this consciousness? Why are we not cultivating this rationality? Why are we not cultivating this morality? Cultural Christianity is a confession that one is not only desperate, but that one lacks a capacity of imagination and creativity, that one lacks a capacity of intelligent cultural formation, that one lacks a capacity to think about what is worthy, about what has value within the context of culture. The very cultural Christianity that individuals adhere to was itself a formation of the human mind, was itself a formation of the evolutionary development of human concepts. And so the question is, why do we not strike out toward a higher formation of values? Why do we not strike out toward a higher culture? Those who have run to cultural Christianity, thinking that it offers value structures that can in fact save humanity and civilization, are sorely mistaken. Long has this road been tried. For thousands and thousands of years, this path has been tried. This path has been walked. And it didn't advance the species. It didn't create harmony throughout the species. It created division. It created war. It created petty judgment. It created cruelty. It created mindlessness. And yet all the while, the one who confesses to be a cultural Christian is operating from a vantage point which is rationally and morally higher than the vantage point of Christianity. Because the consciousness that claims that this Christianity has value, that claim, that consciousness is coming from a culture that has already transcended Christianity. That's why cultural Christians do not believe in the literal truth of Christianity. That's why they do not believe that the gods of Christianity are real, that the Trinity is real, that the miracles were real. They adopt it as a cultural belief, as a cultural set of values. And this activity betrays the one who adopts it. It shows that their intelligence is lacking, that their conscious awareness is lacking, that their understanding of values is lacking. The reality is that there are many higher cultures in the world than Christianity. We have already established these, but we view them through the wrong vantage point. We foolishly accept the loaded premises of Christianity and believe that it is a system that comes down to us from some magical place, from eternal place within the cosmos, that it somehow is special and unique among all the cultural systems of the world. And yet I tell you that we have gone beyond this culture. Now, individuals don't want to believe it. They think that this isn't possible because in their mind and imagination, Christianity has established and achieved the highest level of morality known to human consciousness, but this is false. This is empirically false. The formation of the United Nations, which established the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, contains moral principles, cultural principles, principles that came from human beings, from human cultures, that goes vastly beyond the moral precepts of Christianity. It contains moral principles that are more civil, that are more intelligent, that are more just. And these principles were formed through culture the same way that Christianity was formed through culture, through human minds in collective contemplation, through human minds engaging in the pursuit of conceptual development and expansion. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is, as a matter of fact, a culture, a moral culture, an intellectual culture that stands higher than Christianity, that stands superior to Christianity. So when the cultural Christian cries out that mankind must have Christianity, that mankind needs Christianity, because without it, humanity will be sunk in moral darkness, this is a lie. This is an error. This is an ignorance. The truth is that humanity, mankind, has already transcended the culture of Christianity. The formation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights within the context of human consciousness is no small feat. That was no small development, but we view it wrong. We do not see it as emerging from the collective social line of human consciousness. We see it as something separate. We see it as something different because it doesn't claim the name of religion or assert the being of God. And so we automatically assume, with the fallacy of religion, with the loaded premises of religion, that religion has something more special, something more authoritative than the formation of the culture that achieved the moral genius of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. There has been nothing that has risen higher than this achievement in human consciousness. This is the best that mankind has done within the collective history of mankind. But moral precepts are still being formed. They're being formed in the domain of sociology, in the domain of psychology. They're not declared in a universal declaration of rights. But we are discovering and finding out facts about humanity which are crucial to our understanding of how we should form values. Because we are understanding what is required to develop a healthy human. What is required to develop a moral human. And when we understand that, we understand all the better what kind of principles, what kind of moral principles we should establish in the context of society to ensure that we grow and develop healthy humans. Humans that flourish within the context of society. Christianity has none of this consciousness, none of this awareness. And so when I see cultural Christians go off and claim that Christianity is so desperately necessary and needed to save humanity from a darkness that it will fall into, I think that these are individuals and humans that do not understand what they say. They are ignorant of their own speech. They are unaware of their own thoughts. They do not realize that humans have already constructed and achieved higher cultures. That is the culture of humanism. That is the culture of the United Nations and its many declarations that are far more specific than the morals contained in Christianity. And if we are interested and we care about the quality and the longevity of the species, then we should care about the most intelligent morals, the most nuanced morals, the moral principles that have been constructed to bring about the broadest sense of freedom. These are not the vague generalizations of Christianity. These are the secularized, the humanized, the emancipated moral principles that we find in the Declaration, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. and other moral documents that have been formed by the United Nations. These documents not only put forward transcendent moral principles in relation to the cultures of the past, but they demonstrate to us that we are capable of doing this, that we are capable of continuing to do this, and that we should do this. It is an error and an ignorance to think that we need to fall back on the darkness and the superstition and the ignorance and the narrowness, the dogmatism, the intolerance, the viciousness, the cruelty of the vague principles of Christianity. We are already part of a higher culture. We have already been touched by higher morals, by higher principles, and we should continue in good faith and with intelligence to build and shape and to form even higher moral principles.